A private lander sets its sight on the moon, a robotic spacecraft encounters surprises, and a spacewalk at the International Space Station continues upgrade work on the outpost's power supply. That and more for your Space Bulletin for March 23, 2019. At 12:30 UTC March 19th, SpaceIL's Beresheet moonlander performed a 60-second engine firing to raise its trajectory around Earth high enough to intersect with the moon's orbit. This was the latest maneuver performed by the lander, which was launched into a geostationary transfer orbit as a secondary spacecraft atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket several weeks ago. Since then, it has been gradually raising its orbit and is expected to perform an engine burn on April 4th to place it into an orbit around the moon. Assuming all goes well, SpaceIL, an Israeli organization, hopes to make Israel the fourth country to achieve a soft landing on the moon, behind the USSR and the United States in 1966 and China in 2013. Touchdown in the Sea of Serenity is planned for April 11th. Meanwhile, on a body much farther from the moon, a NASA spacecraft discovered some surprising characteristics on an asteroid it's orbiting. NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft took images of particle plumes erupting from the surface of asteroid Bennu. Scientists said in a March 19th news conference that they aren't sure the cause of these plumes, but noticed them in January, not long after the spacecraft entered orbit around the small, half-kilometer-wide asteroid. That, combined with the realization that the surface is more rugged than initially thought, it is expected to make choosing a site for sample collection more challenging. OSIRIS-REx is designed to study and collect samples from Bennu before returning them to Earth in 2023.
2, 1, top.
Closer to home, Arianespace launched a 30-meter tall Vega rocket to send the Italian Prisma Earth observation satellite into space. Liftoff took place at 1:50 UTC March 22nd and placed the spacecraft in a 615-kilometer sun-synchronous orbit less than an hour later. Prisma is an 879-kilogram imaging satellite with an instrument that combines a hyperspectral sensor with a panchromatic camera. Over its 5-year mission, it's designed to take medium-resolution photos to facilitate resource management, crop identification and classification, and to fight against pollution. Back on the ground, Sierra Nevada Corporation is continuing to develop its Dream Chaser spaceplane. It is one of 3 spacecraft expected to service the International Space Station in NASA's upcoming Commercial Resupply Services 2 contract. The vehicle has yet to fly in space, but it recently passed NASA's Integrated Review Milestone number 5. According to the company on March 21st, this was a status check on the performance of a variety of its ground and flight operations. Currently, the company expects the first flight of Dream Chaser to occur in the spring of 2021, where it will launch atop a United Launch Alliance rocket. Speaking of the International Space Station, on March 22nd, 2 Expedition 59 astronauts successfully completed US EVA 52, which was the first of 2 spacewalks dedicated to replacing the aging nickel-hydrogen batteries on the P4 truss segment. NASA's Nick Hague and Anne McClain exited the Quest airlock just after noon UTC and spent over 6 hours installing 3 battery adapter plates and relocating existing batteries so that ground-based robotics teams could finish installing the new lithium-ion units using Canadarm2 with the Dexter robotic hand. Another spacewalk, this time with McClain and NASA astronaut Christina Cook, is planned for next Friday, March 29th, and it will finish the work started during this outing. It is expected to be the first all-female spacewalk ever performed. Those are your Space Bulletins for this week. Be sure to subscribe to Spaceflight Insider and hit the bell to be notified for more space-related content. And as always, you can find these stories and more at spaceflightinsider.com.